I'd most wanted to talk to you because your record indicated you never went along with the official version. I've been hoping you'd provide a missing piece.
Young lady, my whole brain's a bunch of missing pieces.
Hey guys, Ryan and Greg back, breaking down another episode of True Detective Season 3. This is episode 7 already, The Final Country.
Again, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched this episode yet, get out of here, go watch it, and come on back. It's really good.
Make sure you're subscribed too, because they have one more episode left until the end of Season 3. So this episode starts off in a different timeline than what we've seen so far.
We don't know what year exactly.
Sometime between, I would say, 2000 and 2010 maybe.
Wayne's got the gray hair going on, but we see his daughter.
Right, for the first time since she was really young.
What do we take out of that though, that scene?
We still really don't know what happened in the interim, right?
Yeah.
We don't know what, how their relationship might have fallen apart, or if something really horrible happened to her, or if it's just a completely fabrication and made up in his mind.
Well, you got my number.
Since I was 2.
So we feared this, we kind of knew this was coming from last episode, the cliffhanger that we left on. Tom Purcell was killed, and they made it look like it was a suicide.
Yeah, but the gun right next to him too, like that, and all.
The typed out note.
Well, typed out note, I'm so sorry. Okay. At that point, you would think that Purple and Roland would think, okay, something's up here. But at the same time, so many emotions are going through their head. You can see how they were just like, I'm done. I'm over it.
Yeah.
The case is over again.
Roland is extremely ridden with guilt from this whole thing that happened. You know, he kind of took Tom under his wing, kind of protected him, and as soon as it happens, he kind of puts it on himself and Wayne. Wayne deals with it a little bit easier. They're obviously two different men. They deal with emotion a little bit differently, and we see that a few times in this episode where Wayne, you know, kind of is like, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that you weren't the same as me, that we're totally different.
Yeah.
Roland takes it really hard. So it's totally heartbreaking for Roland when he knows that Tom is no longer with us.
We did that. Drove him to it.
We nitpicked this last week about Amelia and whether or not she was going to say anything about the one-eyed man.
Yeah.
So she immediately tells
Good job,
Wayne
Amelia.
what happened. So she did it. She did her job. She told the police, technically, so what happened. So that's out of the way now. So we can go start looking at Wayne again and think, why wasn't this in the book?
Exactly.
Why didn't anyone bring this up again? But we're going to talk about that a little bit later, probably why that happened. But we now know Amelia did confirm that she saw a one-eyed black man. He came and talked to her during her book signing.
And significantly, she told Wayne.
Yes. She told him straight up the second he came home. So okay.
Tell him immediately, because this is a pretty big bombshell. Now for the Hoyts, getting rid of Purcell obviously completely deaded the investigation the second time around. 2 times in this investigation that's been opened, it's been killed by just
a murder
that kind of wipes out any of the evidence or any of the loose ends, so to speak.
Dead men tell no tales.
Exactly. So if you were in the broader scope when you're looking back in 2015, you know, this looks like the perfect way to cover up the conspiracy that's going on.
If it wasn't time, don't let...
What do we got? You want to go back looking for any one-eyed black man in Arkansas? For what? Because your wife saw one?
And again, in this episode, we're reminded that Wayne considers work as a way to escape life, his normal life. You know, it totally consumes him. And there's a little bit of butting heads between him and Roland when it comes to this case.
Roland's like, drop it. That's it. It's over. He's just
like
lost
defeated.
one of his friends. He feels completely defeated. And at that same moment, he knows that there's probably nothing they can do, regardless if they find more clues at this point in the investigation.
And Wayne just wants an excuse to not go home. He just wants to keep on working and keep on finding things that, you know, following small leads that he can. And Roland's like, come on, man, just give it up already.
Back to Amelia, she talks to Lucy's best friend that since the first episode, everyone's thinking, did she have something to do with this?
And that's the way they directed that first episode, right?
Yes.
It was really well done, where it looks like everyone could be a suspect.
Yes, so the payoff for this character may just be that photo the photo she gives him. But I still feel like maybe there's something else going on here, especially the way that room was situated.
She's a little bit of a hoarder.
Yeah, the whole hoarder stuff.
Yeah.
I got vibes of season 1, honestly, in her room and all the things she's working on in there.
Right.
So could that be a clue for this? She might have had something to do with Mike's murder,
or she at least knows about it. Or, you know,
I think she knows more.
She knows more than she's letting on, yeah.
I'd rather that you didn't. That's mine.
Just to make a copy, I could bring it right back to you.
I would rather that you didn't.
Now, the photo in question is obviously of Halloween night, and we can see...
The directors, whoever staged the photo, they made sure they showed their hands. Okay, one's black, one's white.
Right, and they're in the ghost outfits, and you see the kids trick-or-treating. You know, it's a little bit more evidence that kind of places the two people there at the same time. But I thought it was very significant, the conversation between Amelia and the neighbor was when she said, you know, are you going to leave town? Are you thinking about leaving? And she's like, why would I? Why would I? Someone has to remember this. Someone has to tell their story. Someone has to like be here for it. Because she really has, I thought about it, like this woman, I don't know what her connection is to the city. It doesn't seem like to the town. I don't think she has any kids in the area. She doesn't have any family. It seems like she's just there by herself, but it's become, you know, this is home for her regardless. Yeah.
Now back to Dan O'Brien for a second. He's flown the coop, apparently, or
looks like.
Yeah, it looks like it. It looks like Hoyt or somebody might have dumped another body somewhere else.
Totally. Yep.
At the same time, though, I'm just going to put that question out there. Do you think the Hoyts got rid of Dan O'Brien, or is something else happening here with the actual death of Dan O'Brien that we don't know about yet?
I think that I immediately thought that the Hoyts got to him, just because they were ready for Tom to come to the house. They were almost planning for this. They might have even, motivated Dan to kind of get Tom kind of to come out of hiding and do this. And then they would immediately then tie up their other loose end, which is Dan O'Brien, and shut him up because obviously he has a problem with drugs, and you really can't trust him for holding any secrets. So I immediately thought, and once we find out later, just the power and influence and the resources that the Hoyt family has, that it would be easy for them to kill two men in a town, regardless of who's watching.
We fucking lost them. We're burned.
Also, we got this very heartfelt scene in the 80s with Amelia and Wayne where she's trying to explain to him about her book and, are you sure you want me to do this because it could hurt your job? And so now this kind of gives us confirmation of what exactly happened and what went down and how he got his desk job. He told her straight up, no, tell the story how it is.
Someone's got to do
anything. Someone's got to do it. This one scene showed that, Amelia, she gave him every shot out of this. She's like, are you sure?
Right.
Are you sure?
That's what stood out to me too. It was the fact that like we've never seen this supportive side of Wayne when it comes to the book. Every other time he brings up the book, it's a thing of argument between those two, and he kind of is not really proud of it. But you know, at this point in his life, when she was just getting motivated to do it, he was like, "Go for it! Like we need as much truth out there as we can get."
These groups, they take runaways, kids in orphanages, outright kidnapping, and wider investigations are consistently curtailed. In both the Louisiana and Nebraska cases, high-level politicians and businessmen were implicated. People with the power to make these things go away.
Now in 2015, Eliza asks Wayne about some of the specifics in the case. This time she asks about the black man with the bad eye, with the white eye. And she says, did he know anything about that? And he says no.
Wayne's reaction.
But we know that Amelia told him about it.
Yes.
So whether do we know if it's something that he forgot, or is he just playing his cards close to his vest and doesn't want to say anything? One
part he's like, oh, no, I don't know. You feel like, okay, he knows everything.
Right.
But then immediately he goes to Roland and says, write that down.
Write that down, yeah.
Where are we going here? It's kind of a mix between the two of them. You're like, okay, does he know everything?
Yeah. He's playing a little bit coy with her.
Yeah, because at first you think, okay, when she brings up the conspiracy, she's bringing up all these things, and Wayne's like, okay. I felt like he's trying to get her to put the pieces together herself. I don't know. I feel like
it was never confirmed that he got the name, right? So the new information would be the name. Yes. He knew about the black guy with the bad eye that had been talked about numerous times before as a suspect or person of interest.
This means they didn't solve that much.
They didn't solve that much. They never got the name. They never ID'd him after he approached Amelia at the book signing.
So this destroys the theory that he may have figured it all out, and then he just decided, all right, I'm going to back away from this.
Unless, of course, that he's gotten so sick that he legitimately has forgotten
and that's what I want.
What he saw.
And that's what I think what happened with Roland, where he's
Right.
like, write down that name Watts.
Right. In this episode, we also get the awesome Easter egg tie-in between seasons 1 and seasons 3. So it's all in the same universe.
The pedophile ring.
Right. Happened in Louisiana, and we're over in Arkansas this season. But we know that those timelines kind of overlap.
Yes. So I wonder, are they going to try to fill that in with the end of this season? Who knows? I feel like, are we still looking at just an Easter egg here?
I think it's nothing more than just an Easter egg. It's similar themes and things that are going around in different regions of the United States. But I don't think that there's any big bad ahead. That's overlooking both of these things.
I'll throw this out there to you then. Do you think there's actually a pedophile ring going on here, or do you think it's one situation and everything's getting blown out of proportion? Because Harris laughs at that. The second they bring that up about the kids.
Well, the one thing that leads me to believe that there is some nefarious, horrible, disgusting group of powerful people that are doing this is what the young adults and kids, how they talk about the area and the region, and what goes on to those that are in less fortunate situations and kind of on the fringe of society. We talked about this last week. That they're taken advantage of by people that have the money, the power, the political influence to do horrible and horrific things to them.
You ought to write a book. Write about what happens to kids out here. What happens to girls.
Amelia's back out on the investigation. She takes the kids with her this time to a bar.
Another example of Wayne being too serious about work and not being home to take care of the kids.
Yep. And she finds out that, okay, so there was a guy, one black guy, one eye, Watts. He wasn't there to talk to Lucy. He was there for Dan O'Brien.
Right.
So again, you feel like Dan O'Brien might have been the key here to get all of this started, this ball rolling of whatever happened to the kids.
Yeah, he was maybe running in the same circles as certain people that had the opportunity
for money.
Right. All comes down to a few extra bills here and there, and the kids were always a part of this as well. So yeah, it all seems that like Dan was the conduit for all these different circles of people to kind of connect with each other, and all for some money.
Yep.
To do horrible things with kids.
Probably convinced Lucy to do this, and that's probably who Lucy was talking to on the phone right before Amelia knocked on her door a few episodes back, and she's like, "Motherfucker, you hear me?" That's probably who she was talking to. The deal gone wrong.
Yeah.
I feel like she thought this was just going to be a quick and easy, just donate the children to whatever they were doing, some scam they had, and it ended poorly, as you would think it would for something like this.
And speaking of children, during this whole time, Amelia kind of panics and freaks out when she sees the kids no longer in the car. They had just fallen asleep.
Just like when Wayne freaked out at the supermarket, same thing, all over again.
Yeah, and I think it goes with the theme that's been proven throughout this season of the paranoia and the panic that was kind of widespread during this time with adults and their kids and what they're watching, what they're doing, who they're talking to. So for a second there, I actually thought that they were gone.
Like the Hoyts took them?
I thought that that someone was watching her investigate and talk to people, that she wasn't supposed to be talking to, and I thought that they took the kids, and my heart like dropped for a second there.
Now let's talk about Harris James right now. Let's finish off this segment on Harris James, because the segment where they are driving behind him, that score is awesome.
Yeah.
So Harris knows he's fucked. He knows it's over.
Yeah.
He's looking out the window and, oh shit. He knows there's nothing he can do. What's he gonna do?
He's not doing anything. He's just driving late at night, and this is not a good situation.
It's over for him. He knows it's like, I'm not gonna snitch, and I'm done.
You got a dark look, Lieutenant.
I need you to step out of the car, sir.
And now we can confirm out of this whole thing that, yes, it was Wayne and Roland that took out Harris James.
Yeah.
They both shot him, too. At first, I thought it was just Roland,
Yeah.
but no, they both shot him, and so now they're just dealing with the guilt of what happened that
Couple
day.
things here. Harris James, I honestly thought that he was hurt, like internally, that he was not faking it, but it turns out he's faking it, and that he tried to attack and kill Wayne, so you got to defend yourself in that situation. I mean, obviously, they shouldn't have taken justice in their own hands, but This is their only way, absolute only way to get information out of him. They failed to get the information out of him, so now they don't have that information. But we do know why these two had a falling out. Now in 2015, we get grumpy old men, detectives. They are breaking down the case, still working the case. They talk to the former Hoyt kitchen maid, who tells us a story, describes the scene over at the Hoyt mansion, that it was, there's a division of labor, division of almost everything.
Yeah, and she brings up another black guy with one eye, Mr. June.
Mr. June.
Mr. June, okay, all right, and
So
we had
Watson,
Julie,
we had June.
July, we had that earlier.
June, oh yeah.
So, okay, so it's starting to come together here. The big thing that happened here is Miss Isabel. They talk about specifically, again, what happened to her, her family, her husband, and child die in a car accident.
Yeah.
She's starting to lose it, and right around 1980, just after, actually, in 1981, right after the kidnapping, all the housemaids, everyone, they're not allowed on certain parts of the Hoyt property anymore.
Right.
Especially the basement.
Where there's a huge security system lock, and yeah. So certain people are not allowed in certain areas, very hush-hush.
Yep.
She played it off like Miss Isabel was getting sick and getting worse, but
it seems like maybe
probably
they're
something
hiding
a lot more nefarious.
something.
It was, they're hiding something.
A person.
A person in a pink room underground in the basement. So we
you go.
find a little bit more evidence that this stuff was actually going on.
Julie?
There's also a very touching moment between Wayne and Roland in 2015, where Wayne just comes out and apologizes for the situation that he put him in.
Yeah.
And the way I interpreted that was that it was obviously long overdue, but he might have said that a few times to Roland and not knowing it. You know what I mean? It felt like something that he.
Like, oh man.
Roland just like
bad.
Roland feels bad. Obviously, his friend is sick, but that Wayne is kind of on a loop and just kind of playing that back over and over, and whenever he's reminded by that, he then thinks, wow, I put Roland through that as well.
Also in 2015, Wayne reveals to Roland that he has been talking to the ghost Amelia in his head. He's brought that up now, so I wonder where Roland's going with all this, because he already told him Roland knows about the gun. He talked to Henry about that too,
right.
So he knows he's slipping a lot. So where does that take us for the finale? I don't know, but they're leading little clues with that Chekhov's gun that something's going to happen here, and also remember the car. Let's go back now to that car in the driveway. It's proven fact it was there.
There is a car there. We don't know who the car is looking for, who the car is watching.
They got the license plate,
But they got the license plate. That was a cool little team up right there.
That was.
The old timers did it.
You get it? Yeah.
Okay, so we're back in the 90s, and we saw that shot in the trailer. Remember Wayne burning something?
You and I knew that he was doing something horrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amelia is actually there, and she stumbles upon it too, and he's just like, listen.
Can't talk about this.
Let's just...
Don't even ask me right now. I cannot get into this.
If you go in the backyard, your husband's burning something, just
half
and he's
naked, burning his
half naked,
clothes.
and says, "Yo, just let's talk about this again in the morning or something." Okay.
I mean, think about it from her perspective, though. That is a terrifying sight.
That's the last thing you want to see.
That is the last thing you want to see. Your significant other burning all their clothes outside in the middle of the night with a look that he just, went to hell and came back.
Oh, man. And finally, at the end, Wayne receives a phone call from Mr. Hoyt.
Yes, this was an awesome scene because
such a good way to end it.
He's literally outside the house, just like, hey man, I hear you're looking for me. I hear you're doing some stuff.
Maybe we should go inside and talk to all the kids, your wife.
Yeah.
No, okay.
It just proved how much information, power, control this person and this organization, whatever it is, this entity has over the town.
His bodyguard, his mountain is gone, and I think he can put one and two. He can put it all together at this point. What happened?
Yeah, he says that he has evidence that he could literally go to the authorities and that Wayne would be screwed.
Yeah.
So clearly they had some type of surveillance on his own people, and he knows a lot more than what Wayne would assume. So Wayne's in trouble. That was a hairy situation. Like, he knows everything about your family, and you have no choice but to go with him.
You may not realize this, but I've been pretty damn patient with you already. Perhaps I should take my information to the prosecutor's office. Or like I say, happy to talk inside.
No. I'll be out in 5.
Okay, before we get out of here, let's do some questions and predictions for the season finale. First of all, once Hoyt starts talking, I'm already Googling, wait, that sounds so familiar, and Variety put it out there already that it is in fact Michael Rooker. He will be playing Hoyt in the season finale. Now, all I can think is like William Hurt in A History of Violence kind of vibe here, because I feel like he's obviously going to give us a lot of exposition of what's going on here, and he's going to inform us on a lot of stuff, because there's so much that has to be packed into this episode.
Totally, a lot.
He's going to be the key here to give it all out there before we get to the final line of what happens with Julie and everything else. So with that said, I am so excited to see what happens here, because Michael Rooker, they didn't show nothing on him for the other episodes. Yeah. They just kept him for the finale, and just the voice in the final scene of this episode. Come on, I'm ready.
Now, a big question that I have is, we know that Wayne isn't killed by Hoyt, but
they come to an understanding.
It sounds like they come to some sort of agreement, right?
Mm-hmm. Now, is that agreement, listen, shut up or I'm going to kill your family? Probably. Right. That's probably what it is.
That's probably what it is.
It's also probably going to tell us why he doesn't speak to Roland for so many years. It feels like maybe he's trying to come out of this now and go, I got to stay away. I know what happened. I know the truth. And I can't say a single thing.
Now, my question to you, though, is knowing that, say he should not speak anymore if Hoyt's like dropped this immediately, right? Mm-hmm. Why even agree to do a 2015 documentary on the show?
Hoyt's dead at this point, you would think. They got Michael Rooker, unless who knows what's going to happen in this final episode, but I'm assuming that old man Hoyt is gone in 2015. And
so
his mind is still going.
Why not just wait until Hoyt dies and immediately just
write that book, fix the part 2 of the book?
No, yeah. I mean, go to the authorities and say, here's the evidence that I was ready to,
It's bigger than that. I feel like Hoyt's going to tell him there's bigger layers here than just Hoyt. I just want to know, will there be justice, though, at the end of this episode? Is it going to be Chinatown, where just there's no win? It's a no-win scenario, no matter what, for Wayne. Or how are they going to solve this? How is old man Roland and Wayne, are they going to get to the bottom of this?
Grumpy old men. True detective, grumpy old men.
I'm assuming Eliza is a big key here for this.
She needs to have other information that she's going to share with him.
She's got to help him.
Something else needs to be revealed.
Yeah.
Also, what happened with Wayne and his daughter, Becca? Did she just get away from the whole situation? Did she get a feeling of what?
The Hoyt things makes me feel a little queasy, because what if he's like, all right, we're gonna take one of the kids.
He made an example of.
He's got to make an example. He takes one of the kids. I hope that's not it. But I'm just getting the vibe here that something's going on with Becca here, and we're not getting everything until the finale. So that tells you something else is going on with her.
What I'm gonna do without you?
You're a tough guy. You'll be fine.
You don't know that.
That'll do it for our breakdown of episode 7, but we'll be back here next week after the season finale.
Let us know your predictions of what's going to happen in the finale in the comments down below, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel too.
See you next week, guys.
Bye-bye.